Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Chase. We're going to do a quick market update video, okay? We'll get right into it, as we usually do. So just to catch up on things, right, here's ES. Let's just clear these charts off real quick. Here's ES, here's Bitcoin. Those are the two we're going to focus on today. You guys know how I do with that. I typically look at SP 500, the S&P, which is ES. I've done a whole thread on that if you need to learn more. But ES is what we look towards for our, our sort of risk assets and where they're going to move. Most of the time ES leads, and then Bitcoin will follow and stuff. Bitcoin's been a little it's hard to say weak, because when ES was dumping, Bitcoin was relatively consolidative in nature, and now that ES is ripping, Bitcoin has not really given it hasn't really given a lot of follow through, okay? And just if there's some cuts in this video, guys, I gotta hop off like every 5 minutes to check on something. So usually I do these videos straight through, but I might have to just do tiny little cuts. They shouldn't interrupt anything, just from your perspective, but just letting you guys know why there might be a couple cuts in the video. All right, so let's mark out liquidity. Above here we have liquidity, but the way it's looking, in my opinion, let's take a look at ES, right? We're just gonna break this down real quick. So we had the June low, we had liquidity below here. Let me take out an indicator, which I don't usually do, but I had talked to you guys about the 200 moving average on the 1 week, okay? Let's go back in here. Haven't taken a trade in 2 days. This was on September 30th, okay? The low was put in on October 3rd. You had plenty of time, all right? September 30th. Optimally, we get a sharp wick on ES running all local stops into the 1 week 200 moving average. I buy this, okay? I had people asking me, are you in? Guys, enough, right? This isn't a paid group. It's not a paid service. I can't hold your hand that much, right? If I say I'm buying something, I'm buying it. Unless, sorry, I'm putting on chapstick. Unless there's another tweet coming up later or afterwards that says I'm not buying this anymore, okay? I said, what I mean, I say, there's the drawing, and now we look over to ES, and then there you go. It's sort of how it played out, right? So, first level of confluence we had was this 200 moving average, okay? Then we have the June liquidity, all right? Now we're going to bring out something else I usually don't show, but we're looking at high time frame here. We're on the weekly bullish divergence, okay, from this low to this low. So now we have a lot of confluent factors for moving up. And we had a daily, actually not, well, bullish engulfing on the body, not 100% completely, but, somewhat of a bullish engulfing. And now we're flipping SR here, right? So if we just take this and we just say, okay, well, you can take any one of these. You don't have to be perfect with it, right? But there you go. SR flip right there, right? So now we had breakdown, rejection, 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 rejection. Look at these perfect closes on rejection. Boom, comes down, tap, retest, good. Next target we're looking for, 38.33. Then if we want to look at this whole move as a whole, we can fib it from top to bottom, right? And then we also want to say, look, a liquidity above here, okay? And that aligns with the 705. And we like that level right there. So ultimately, if we go above here, I'm not like looking to long this right away, right? I do have a feeling we could deviate this level, come down. Maybe we run this low, something like that. I'm doing one of those drawings that I usually do. May come true, may come not, but it's sort of it's a roadmap as to, it'll help me in the future if something like this does come true. Okay, and it'll let me execute and give me more confidence in my execution. That's the point of me drawing these things. And I draw them on the spot. I don't think of this ahead of time. This is just, I'm just going off it. So I think we have liquidity above here. I think we come up, maybe we deviate. We come back down, we get this liquidity. People get panicky down here. This is when they start selling. Smart money is buying again. We reclaim, back up, rejection short term, but breaks above, squeezes right into here. And this is where I start loading up swing shorts, put options, whatever your method of shorting is most likely. You do have to be careful because there's a pretty big sort of gap in here. Imbalance, liquidity, void, whatever you want to call it. There's so depending on how far it runs up into this, right? It could run up into it, or it could just be very brief and back below. Really what you're looking for is a short trigger something along that nature, right? So get your deviation, get your short trigger. You see SZ draw this type of stuff all the time, and there's your entry on the short trigger. And at that point, I think we'd probably be, I mean, that's probably my local high until we go back down. And I don't know, maybe we go lower at that point. So that would be my current thought process for ES, okay? So yeah, we were long off this. I said I'm buying it, showed you exactly how it was going to play out. It played out exactly to the T. All right, one sec. All right, and now we're going to go take a look at Bitcoin. Let's just see what my next tweet was. Oh yeah, this is in general now. So not interested in fading or shorting bullish momentum on risk assets right now. If ES has legs, I think it could go back to 4,000. If we look here at my analysis right there, 3997, 3981, right around 4,000. Okay, so that's the area we're watching for potential resistance. And then when I talked about all the confluent factors of bullishness, again, 200 moving average, the June low liquidity run, weekly bullish divergence, bullish engulfing on the daily time frame, potential SR flip on the daily time frame. Okay, so a lot of things adding up here to continue to squeeze higher. And then now if you follow me closely, you know I'm actually closed on 70% of my ES long, and you may be asking why. You know, one could say that or maybe even I could say that my closes were a bit premature here, seeing all the high time frame confluence that we had. My thought process was this. I thought that that we could maybe run this again. I wasn't in worry about my long, right? I wasn't concerned about my long because I was going to load up again if it came back down. But I don't like giving profit back to the market. I don't know if it's one of my strengths or it's one of my weaknesses, but I'm very against giving profits back. So when I see like areas of liquidity that I think could be ran and cause a rejection, I take profit. So my first take profit was here, right? Look at that. Takes liquidity, daily closes below. Now, in a different world, right, or in a different, simulation or whatever you want to say, this level, we break below it, and this rejects, and it comes back down, and I lose all my profit. So that's where I first took my, I think it was 40% or 50% profit, something of that nature. And then when it came up towards this high, potential another area of liquidity, I took more. And now I have like 30% left to 35% left, something around there. And when it comes up to here, I'll close the position out fully. Even though that I think that it could potentially go to here, I'll have to look to get back in. Maybe on that sweep play that I talked about. Maybe that's when I get back in towards there. But yeah, I'm not a fan of giving profits back to the market. Whether that has made me, less, quote unquote, I always use the word comfortable instead of rich. Unless it has made me less comfortable over the years or less rich over the years, so be it. But I also think that there's, the huge aspect of this game is mental. And I know that for my mental, it's not good for me to see, whatever you want to say, whatever's good profit to you, right? Because even on, like, look, guys, if you were even trading one ES contract, I was in at 35.90. If you were even trading one ES contract to here, 160 times 5. So whatever, or 160 times 50, whatever number that is, that's your profit for just one contract, right? So you're talking some, and I know there's people on, Twitter trading for millions of dollars and whatnot, but, for your average Joe or for, your mid-level traders, having a 20K day or something, I mean, I feel like you gotta lock that in. Like that's good money. That's a good trade. You throw it in the bank and it is what it is, or you throw it into your favorite crypto or whatever if you're going for the long-term play, whatever you want to do. But point being is I like to lock in profits. I don't like to give profits back to the market. I take profits at areas of liquidity. Could I have maybe gone like 25% profit, 25% profit and let 50 run based off of a high time frame bias? I think the answer to that is yes, and maybe that's something that I need to improve on into the future. But for now, I'm content with what I took, and we'll keep it at that. Okay, so we talked about all these tweets, and we'll move over to Bitcoin. What do I think is going to happen on Bitcoin straight up? Let's see. Well, this was sort of like I'm not concerned with this low right now because this was sort of like peak capitulation low. It was what it was. we had this low, we chopped it up a lot. Most likely, you know, you had your buyers in here, right? Because it looked wick, reclaim, wick, bought up quick. So when people were panic selling into these lows, you know, you can call this your quote unquote smart money here, buying. So two trains of thought here. You can watch for the deviation. I'm starting to feel like this is unlikely. I'm starting to feel like this high is more where I want to look towards. Let's see if we can look at a weekly real quick. I don't like this either. See, here's the thing about Bitcoin. It's like this price action to me, and I know some people disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. The price action to me is just not clean like ES is. I feel like ES is such an easier trading atmosphere lately, and yeah, it just is what it is. But look, so the weekly comes up, the weekly rejects, and now the daily is going to try to break upwards. I don't know, maybe the daily gets to here, maybe that's more appropriate. But then if you break down onto 4 hour, I think it goes even higher. I mean, so you had a big breakdown here. I'm thinking about this on the spot, really. Had a big breakdown here, big leg down, big leg down. This is sort of your origin of your big leg down here. Let's mark that out real quick, just see how that adds up. Okay, I think this adds up now, because if we look at the daily, right? So this daily support right here, pretty much before this huge leg down, and then if you look on the 4 hour, this was your leg down, come up, reject, 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 origin of impulse up right here, okay? So we're getting 3 levels of confluence. This origin of breakdown, this origin of impulse upwards, okay? And then the daily level right here, we could see this final daily support right here before the big breakdown through. I think this is where BTC probably could leg to with little resistance. And once you get into here, you probably see some resistance. So, like I said, I'm not in the markets right now to short risk assets immediately. I'll watch and see how we react here. Potentially even look for a long position if BTC wants to do something like this, quick deviation, you know, chop it up a little bit, right back down into like here-ish, something of that nature, come back up, we watch for that, something along that nature, and we play it to here. That's our take profit. And you'll have basically your entry will look something like this. You'll enter here, your stop will be below that low. Should be able to get, you know, that's 1, so that's 1, that's 1. Should be able to get about 2 risk reward on that, right? Somewhere around there. Obviously, we have to see how the price action develops. Okay, 1 second, be right back. All right, so I think that's mostly the thought process right now, guys. Just to sort of wrap this up, I have ES going higher, but we do have to watch for, you know, bear market rallies. They can be strong, but we can also get strong retracements for previous liquidity, right? Because what's happening here is you're seeing leg, you're seeing an instant buyback leg. Like, people are gonna start to get FOMO-y on this stuff, and when it starts to, you know, peter out a little bit and people get FOMO-y, maybe above liquidity, that's when you get that rip. And then you got to watch in this area what the reaction's like. You got to watch that area big time. Watch that low. See how we react to that low later on. If we react to that low well, I think this could be next on the table. Look for something like that. So ES overall right now, I have to be bull bias unless we break below here, okay? If we break below here, flip this to resistance, right? And I know you guys say, oh, well, how do we know if it's reclaimed or not? You know, it's sort of like you have to have a technique, right? Okay, so if you haven't seen the last video, go look at my previous video where we talked about the market structure breaks and the entry techniques and whatnot. There was an example today on Bitcoin, a quick little trade I took. Funny because I haven't traded Bitcoin in a while, but today was a good one. So we'll go to the 4 hour real quick. So Bitcoin had this leg down, right? And you know, you're probably thinking, We can just mark this, right, as an easy like SR. You could have marked it here. You could have marked it here. You could have marked this low as liquidity. Okay, there's so many ways you could have looked at that, right? So when we, sorry, I'm getting pinged. Hold on. All right, so when we look at this and we break it down, and we're going to say, oh, well, let's use the technique from the previous video, all right? And if you've watched the previous video enough, you know that basically the whole strategy boils down to looking at the previous low's high, okay? So here was the previous low's high, right? And I'm not going to previous low and the high, okay? I'm not going to break it down fully here, guys. If you want to understand the strategy, you could just go watch my previous video. I break it down a ton. It's my most watched video ever, I think, and got a lot of feedback on it, a lot of compliments. Thank you very much. I'm glad it's working for some of you guys. A lot of DMs showing me profits and whatnot. That's awesome. When you're, if you're all millionaires and whatnot, don't forget to throw some back to your boy. Yeah, buddy, I appreciate it. So low, the previous highs, the previous low's high. It always gets confusing word-wise. The previous low's high, okay? We put in a new low. We're waiting for this high to be broken. The high is broken. We take a long, right? Right on the break of market structure, we take a long. We put our stop right at the low, right below the low. What do we target? Target a liquidity level. We have relatively equal highs right around here. I think I took profit right around here. 1.7 risk reward, 1.78. I think I probably took it like somewhere right around here. I probably front ran it a little bit because crypto sketches me out as to whether it's going to actually take liquidity or not. Yeah, I think I got like 1.7 risk reward on that. So that's a simple trade, right? My point is, now going back to this, oh, well, how do you know? Well, you don't know for sure. But what you look for is you look for something like this in a strong downtrend. You look for a break in market structure. So it's coming down very strongly. You don't know if this level is going to hold or not in here. You don't know if it's going to hold. But what can you look for? Well, you can look for an entry technique like this, a break in market structure. Okay, it's as simple as that, guys. That's how you're going to identify whether these levels you should be buying or whether you should be skipping. If this didn't break market structure, I wouldn't have bought it. If it just kept going down, then there's no entry. The entry is the break in market structure. Okay, simple as that. Hopefully this video has been helpful, guys. If you enjoy these videos, please like and retweet them on Twitter. Also at the bottom of the page here, you can see my links for Prime XBT. You could trade SP500, or you could trade ES. It's under the ticker SP500. You could trade crypto, all that. Your signups and your deposits, keep these videos coming. They are the ones who pay me to make these videos. Free education for you guys. Okay, thank you very much and have a great week. Peace out.